How's it going, bros? My name is Pewdiepie, and today we're looking at Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I knew who this guy was, but I recently found out about him and I talked about him in a video, and so many people freaked out. This guy is a big deal. I just watched some videos of him and I thought he seemed like a really interesting dude. Unfortunately, he passed away about a month ago. So I just wanted to make this video to kind of tribute him and bring attention to him in his life. If that makes sense, I don't know. I just think he's a cool dude. I'm not gonna pretend like, oh, I was the biggest fan. No, I had no idea who he was, but I like what I've seen. Now, for those of you who don't know, he was a big actor. He was in movies like Detective Byomkeshi Bakshi. You ever seen that one? He was big in India, in Bollywood, basically. He got a nomination for Best Actor, and he's been in commercially successful films like Kedarnath and Chichore. Yeah. His acting is cool and all right? But I think what is more impressive about him is the fact that he's actually really smart. I found out that he was ranked number 7 in the engineering exams of all of India. Not bad. I used to study engineering myself, so I remember I was proud when I got the highest out of 200 people. I feel like out of all of India, it's a little bit more of a more of an achievement. And he also, what I like about him, he came from humble beginnings as well. I'm not gonna try to force like, oh, we're the same. It's just, I'm saying I can relate to him. That's all. Like it's anything the same growing up in Sweden and India. Sorry, I just realized how this sounds like. God damn it. He was also National Olympiad winner in physics. What? Smart dude, basically. And you can tell just by listening to him. Apparently, I saw here, he worked for Ekta Kapoor. Remember her? That fucking dumb bitch. I noticed Sushant followed me on Instagram, and I was so confused by it. I wonder if it was because I trolled Ekta. I don't know. Regardless, he dropped out of engineering. I dropped out of engineering to pursue his dream to work in show business. And one of the videos, the first one I saw of him was when he did this university talk, which I thought was super interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys today because I think he had a lot of really valuable lessons on life. So let's watch it.
Excuse me if I don't make sense. Excuse me if I get a panic attack right now. But I'll try my best.
We love you anyway!
Yeah.
I became an actor because I had a problem. I was an introvert. You know, I'm the youngest in my family, and I was so pampered in my house that when I used to step out, I didn't know how to deal with people. So I gradually became this very shy introvert kid who could not talk. Well, I still cannot talk. And
here I go. Here I insert myself again. I can just relate to it. I was such an introvert as well. I still am. But I found this medium through YouTube to be extroverted and be this character, which has just been so fun. And I guess he got the same way through acting.
Alright, I would love to share my journey with you, my learnings, and in case you decide to drop out and join me in Bollywood, it will come very handy. So, I was thinking in the car, what do I talk about?
Wait, this guy wrote the script for what he was gonna speak to a university on the car on the way there? That's impossible!
But after deep thinking, I zeroed down into 2 things that I can actually discuss about. These 2 things talk about chasing your dreams and actually living your dreams, which unfortunately nobody mentioned to me when I was starting out.
That's funny, because I had the absolute opposite advice given to me. People were like, follow your dreams, pick what you want. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna pick the job I hate because money.
So those 2 things are the biggest lie and the only truth about success that I was told about.
I don't remember what it said, but I'll tell you what I think is that success has way more importance. I know it's easy for me to say this, but I think people put way too much importance on success itself. If you're having fun with what you're doing, then you're already successful and you can sustain yourself. Anything beyond that is just unnecessary, I think, at least.
Money plus recognition is equal to happiness, is equal to success.
Was that the lie? Because I totally agree. I feel like such a broken record because I think I've said this so many times, and every time I say it, everyone gets so mad, and I get it. Everyone's situation is different, but it is a general assumption in society that these things will lead to happiness. I'll just be extra clear when I say this. Obviously, if you can't afford to pay your rent and all these things, yeah, it will help you. You will get happier if you get it, but I'm speaking money in excess, money in its multitude, what people dream about. People imagine, what would it be like if I had so much money, like millions? What would I do? That'd be crazy. You know, people love to fantasize about these things. That's why the lottery exists. And people like to fantasize what it would mean to be recognized or someone of notoriety. And we generally see Hollywood stars shiny and smiley and all that stuff when it has absolutely nothing to do with your happiness. I think so, at least. Obviously, people react differently to different things, but they are literally things that are just like anything else. After a while, they're not going to be as appealing anymore. They're just sensational pleasures, essentially. They'll fleet away.
So let me begin by mentioning that I come from a very middle-class family. And when I was growing up, money was a big differentiator in my life.
Same for me, because my parents were so successful. They made a lot of money, but... and I always felt like, oh God, I need to live up to their standards. I need to get a job just so I can be like them. I know, like, boohoo me, right? I'm just saying there was a lot of pressure to perform well in that regard. And it wasn't until I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go on my own path where I actually found a lot more of it. Ironically.
3 generations of my family that I know of that are documented, nobody knew what fame felt like. So basically, both money and recognition were missing when I started out. So I already started out as a failure. Let me be very precise. My family told me that I had to become an engineer.
I've heard that one as well.
Medical was a book for my sisters. Yeah. So once I'm an engineer, then I can, try a civil services examination, and then probably, that will be like opening the doors for all kind of happiness, and I'll be forever successful. I'll be forever happy. This is the condition that I experienced when I was growing up. All right, fair enough.
Sweden or India, it's the same apparently. That's so funny. That's crazy.
So I became very good in studies. Did fairly well in my 10th board exams. And then off I went to Delhi for my +2, got myself enrolled in a nice school. And Vidyamandir and Fiji and half a dozen of other coaching institutes. And I used to share my room with 3 other similar aspirants. What it meant was, every day after finishing my assignments, school assignments, and preparing for my engineering entrance exam, I had to wash my clothes and I had to cook food for myself. But I wasn't complaining. Well, it was worth it because after all, I was, for the very first time in my life, I was so close to become successful for the first time in my life. So yeah, finally I slogged, I got selected for several engineering colleges, and I decided to take admission in Delhi College of Engineering, which is now known as DTU. Thank you. Were you my senior or junior? There was a celebration like this in my family too.
It's funny, I got into my university through entrance exams as well, which I worked really hard for, and it was like, I got in. It's crazy how similar experience we had. And I thought as well, like, damn, I made it. Like, now it's a smooth sailing from here.
I could finally stop for a while and breathe, you know. I was telling myself that, you know what, now you have made it. You should be happy because you're supposed to be happy. But it wasn't working that much. Something was missing. There was a void that I could feel. So I thought maybe something bigger was required. For some reason, incessantly, while the first 18, 19 years of my life, the future me was much happier, much successful than the present me. So I was like, all right, fine. So I was forcing myself. As I promised, I started preparing for civil services examination, and I was forcing myself to slog, but I was bored. UPSC exams were still far away. In the meantime, I thought of doing theatre, and I thought to learn dance because to counter the shyness that I still have, and also because there were no girls in my engineering college for some reason. I felt cheated, man. We slog so much, you crack the entrance exam and you find that there are no girls. So, yeah, so somebody told me that there are very good-looking girls in dance schools. So I was like, fine, I'll go there.
There you have it. Just pick up dancing and you'll meet girls, guys.
And,
there you have it. Or,
once I started with performing arts, I knew one thing for sure. I knew that I quite like it. And 3 years later, imagine me sitting in the campus, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm really interested in performing arts. And all I want to do is to earn money and to be recognized. So if I become a movie star, I actually was very serious and I dropped out of my college in the 3rd year when I was just 2 semesters away from getting the
No
degree.
way. He was that close. Wow. Yeah, I dropped that way sooner. Because obviously, yeah, I found YouTube and I was enjoying that so much more that didn't feel like I lost to drop out. The idea was to just quit school for a year and then I'll come back. Yep.
Came to Mumbai, got heavily into theatre and also other skills that I thought were necessary to become an actor. And by the way, this time I stayed with 6 other guys in a single room kitchen. But this time I was prepared for it. This time there was one difference. I was driven.
Right. Yeah.
Self-respect was at stake. My ex-college mates, one of them is sitting right here in black shirt. They thought that I was that disaster that folks in engineering and B schools should never become. So I had to prove a point to everybody. I had to prove a point to my family. Most importantly, I had to prove a point to myself. And this was the time when I was also a background dancer. So I was dancing behind all the possible stars that you can think of, Shah Rukh Khan, Shahid Kapoor, everybody. And I was thinking to myself while I was performing, okay, it's just 3 steps away, there, I have to get it. And everything will be sorted. And I kept going like that. And 2 years later, guess what? I got myself my first big break. I was selected for a primetime show on the TV. Now hear me out, it was seriously a big break because I started earning.
Right.
People started recognizing me. To be honest, I would deliberately go and roam in all these malls so that people would look at me, smile, ask me.
That's funny.
And
I don't think I ever done that. No. I guess I did. I did go out like make videos where I brofist people.
I also suddenly discovered that I actually had many friends. I'm like, who were absent all this while, but suddenly they popped up.
Great, see how that works,
The
right?
show became popular. I was making good money to a point that money stopped being a differentiator in my life. And I was becoming more and more popular. Now I cannot go to all those malls that I was going all alone.
Right.
So I wanted somebody to be with me, to save me.
That's the thing. You don't realize. First time you get recognized is amazing. You love it. It's so cool. And that's an experience everyone wants to feel. But then you almost feel isolated where you can't go to malls and you can't go to closely packed areas anymore. You just feel like an alien. It's very limiting. Lonely.
First dream house. I bought myself my dream car. And just a note
Volvo XC90, thank you very much.
to you as well. I was getting such female attention that my engineering college friends could only possibly dream of.
Got him! Got him! Oh man.
So I was having a time of my life. And then something unusual happened. I got used to everything. And I felt cheated. I stayed with all these dreams for 10 and 15 years of my life. I was promised happiness and I was promised success. But all these things stayed with me just for a few days.
Right.
And I'm punctuating me because I started from zero money and zero recognition. So I was not happy. How can that it be? I didn't like this version of success. And the future me again was luring the present me. But this time, I decided otherwise. I would do something else. So that gets us to the second point, which is the only truth.
Yeah, I think he said it pretty well. It's like he imagined these things happening for 10, 15 years of his life, and then they disappear in a couple of days. And I think that's it. They're nice to have, and everyone wants to experience it, but they don't last. And we put way too much importance to them. It's a fantasy. It's always greater in our head. Always.
I won't take too much time. I'll just try to keep it short. I figured something. I figured that something seemingly big things were not that big once I got them. And looking back in the past, I realized that maybe smaller things were way bigger. And there was one thing that was missing in my life that was the cause of this illusion. And that thing that was missing was now.
So true. Yes. I'll let him finish his sentence and then I'll say what I want to say.
I was, all these years, I was obsessed about what's gonna happen. I used to draw those flowcharts that we are taught in schools. If this happens, I'll do that, and 6 months from now, I'll be here. So I wanted to be in control. I was so obsessed about my future.
Oh my God.
I was taking the entire responsibility about the past, but all I was doing was frequently swinging from past to future.
I noticed the words he used, control and the present or now. He was always looking for the next thing. And that's the problem with money and fame. Like, you will never have enough of it. It's something that you can chase forever, but there will never be enough. But I also think in general, you know, one thing I noticed, especially here on YouTube, is these channels that make routine videos where they say, oh, I wake up at 6, I sleep 4 hours, and then from 6 to 7 I do this, and 7 to 8 I do this, and then and then on and on and on and on and on and on. And I get that those videos are very inspiring, but being so focused on the things you need to do constantly, it seems like a nightmare to me. I think it's the illusion of control, which is what he said. You want to think that you have control over your future, when in reality, it doesn't matter. Happiness comes from the moment. And personally, as well, the more I find myself in the moment, the better I'm doing it as a person. I really, really strongly believe that. We always have this dream that we want to chase. Oh, if I do this, then I'll be happy. Oh, if I reach this goal, then I'll be happy. What about now? Anyone, no matter who you are, should be able to be happy in the moment. That's the goal of life. That's what we should try and aim for. There's no always grass is greener or situation that will make you feel better. Why not just be happy now? Your life will never be perfect. Just recognize that and be happy for what you have. If you're in the moment, you immediately realize and become thankful for the things you do have instead of the things that you don't have. At least that's what I noticed. And I think meditating is a really good technique to do that. But there are other ways as well, of course. Sorry, this became a whole big rant, but I find that especially today, it's so easy to get distracted by things. You can occupy your mind constantly, but I think it's important to set away some time to just do nothing. Focus on nothing, and that's what puts you in the moment.
Well, I also figured that when I perform on stage or in front of camera, I'm so much excited. I am so much interested. I was paying so much attention that there was no room to think about future or the past.
Yes, that's it.
I was just there, in the moment.
In the moment.
I was alive in true sense when I was performing. And for the first time, trust me, in a long time, I understood the true meaning of success, which was not money plus recognition, but it was now plus excitement.
I love this guy so much. Such a great dude.
Now let me share another very short story with you. When I was in school, 4 to 5:30 p.m. was the time when I was allowed to go out and play. I was asked to be an engineer, but the entire day I used to wait for 4 p.m. to happen. I would step out, and the next 1.5 hours felt like 5 minutes. I didn't understand this then, but now very honestly, very confidently, I can tell you this, that I'm living that 4 to 5:30 life right now since last 5 years. Cause and effects are not different. Excitement is the cause, excitement is the effect. I get tired again and again because all these success mantras that we talk about, hard work, belief, focus, vision, risk-taking, talent, perseverance, we can go on and on. But all these success mantras are now the side effects of the process itself. I'm so engaged, it commands my attention so much that there is nothing else that I can think about. So hard work doesn't feels like hard work. And there's nothing else that you can do but to persist. Talent you will cultivate. Vision you will get. Focus, there is no other way because it's commanding your attention so much. So here I am right now, 5 years down the line. Money and fame, although still could not earn back their reputation in my life. But let me show you one thing. I have much more of them than I had ever planned. And the best thing, my college, one of the professors who is very dear to me called me recently about asking me to plan this interaction with students, and I very humbly requested that can I get my degree back. And it's happening, and I'm very excited again. Thank you so much, guys.
So good. Sorry, I know this is very long, but he's such a cool dude. Such a smart guy. Such a good message as well. That I so wholeheartedly believe in. Just such a tragedy. It really makes you sad to think that he passed away at such a young age. And I think I mentioned before in a video, because the police say he died from suicide, and at least personally, someone that lives in the moment, I cannot make sense out of committing suicide. And there's been this whole controversy and theories about did he really, what happened, people don't know, and I don't really want to get into that. I wanted this to just be a video of tributing him because I think he's a cool dude and I wanted to share with my audience. But yeah, it's just this statement he had about living in the moment. Obviously this is a couple years ago, but you wouldn't commit suicide if you had this mindset. I don't believe that at all. I really don't. But then again, yeah, it is a couple years ago and I don't want to add things to that, but that's just how I felt while listening to it. Rest in peace, Sushant. I would have loved to meet you. Seemed like a fucking awesome dude, but I'm really glad that you were you. Thank you for being you. And thank you for watching this video. I know it's a bit different, but that's it for now. Hey,